Let's round this number to each of these different places. So we have 48,623. We're going to round this number to the nearest 10, to the nearest hundreds, to the nearest thousands, and the nearest 10,000. All right, so let's look at the places in this number. So we have a 3 in the ones place, we have a 2 in the tens place, we have a 6 in the hundreds place, we have an 8 in the thousands place, and we have a 4 in the 10,000s place. All right, so the first places we're going to round is to the nearest 10. All right, so let's look at each of these digits. So step 1 says to circle the place we are rounding. We're going to round to the nearest 10, so I'm going to circle the 2 because it's in the tens place. All right, step 2 says to go next door and underline the digit to the right. So I'm going to underline this 3 because that is the digit to the right. All right, step 3 says to ask yourself, the digit that I underline, is it 4 or less or 5 or more? Because the rules are, if the digit that we underline is 4 or less, then this number that we circle will stay the same. But if the digit that we underline is 5 or more, then the digit that we circle goes up 1. So looking at what we underline, this 3 is 4 or less, so that tells us that this 2 is going to stay the same. So I'm going to go ahead and write this number. So we have 4, 8, 6, and I'm writing that because I don't want us to forget about it, because lots of times when we ask students to round to the nearest tens, they only give us this part right here. They don't write the whole thing. So we're going to bring it down, 4, 8, 6. All right, this 3 told us that this 2 is going to stay the same. All right, and then the final step says to change any digit, change all digits after the circle digit to 0. So after the circle digit, we have a 3, and I'm going to change that to a 0. So this number, 48,623, rounded to the nearest tens, is 48,620. We're going to round the same number to the nearest hundreds. All right, so let's look at the hundreds place. In the hundreds place, we have a 6. We're going to circle it because step 1 says to circle the place we're rounding. We're rounding to the nearest 100, and the 6 is in the hundreds place. Step 2, go next door, underline the digit to the right. To the right, there's a 2, so we're going to underline that. Step 3 says to ask yourself, the digit that we underline, is it 4 or less or 5 or more? The digit that we underline is 4 or less, so that tells us that this 6 is going to stay a 6. All right, so I'm going to go ahead on and write that. So I have 4, 8, because remember, we can't forget about that. The 6 is going to stay a 6. All right, and then the last step says to change all digits after the circle digit to a 0. So this 2 is going to become a 0, and this 3 is going to become a 0. So let me go ahead and write that. So 48,623, rounded to the nearest 100, is 48,600. Now let's round this same number to the nearest 1,000. All right, so looking at our number, the 8 is in the thousands place, and step 1 says to circle the place we're rounding. Rounded to the nearest 1,000, so I'm circling the 8. Step 2 says to go next door, underline the digit to the right. I'm going to underline the 6 because that is the digit to the right. Step 3 says to ask yourself, the digit that we underline, is it 4 or less or 5 or more? Therefore, this digit that we underline is 5 or more. So that tells us that this 8 is going to become a 9. So let me go ahead and write that. So I'm going to bring down my 4 because we can't forget about it. I'm going to change that 8 into a 9, do my comma, and then the last step says to change all digits after the circle digit to 0. So the 6 is going to become a 0, the 2 is going to become a 0, and the 3 is going to become a 0. Let me go ahead and do that. So 48,623 rounded to the nearest 1,000 is 49,000. Let's round this number to the nearest 10,000. Step 1, circle the place we are rounding. We are rounding to the nearest 10,000. I'm going to circle the 4. Step 2, go next door, underline the digit to the right. I'm going to underline the 8. Step 3 says to ask yourself, the digit that we underline, is it 4 or less or 5 or more? This number that we underline is 5 or more. So therefore, because of the rules, it says that the digit that we underline is 5 or more, then this number that we did circle, the digit that we circle, it goes up 1. So this 4 is going to become a 5. And then it says to change all of the digits, the last step, change all of the digits after the circle digit to 0. So the 8 is going to become a 0, the 6 is going to become a 0, the 2 is going to become a 0, and the 3 is going to become a 0. So 48,623 rounded to the nearest 10,000 is 50,000.